Joe Budden gave me not the same, but somewhat in the same direction of advice that he gave Royce at around that time, because Royce always tells this story about when Joe was like, "Yo, everything you're saying is fire, but when you're gonna start rapping about your junk and your guns, you know what I'm saying?" And pretty much asking him like, "Yo, rap more about yourself. We want to know about you and more about your life." So I showed Joe Budden my EP at the time, and he was like, "Yo, this is all good. You can rap, but like, do you have any like pain or struggle? Any like, what, have you gone through anything, kind of thing?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I do. I just never thought to rap about it," and it made the Gray Area the really dark, sad album that it was, but not in a way where like it was toxic. It was actually healthy to get it out of me.
Yeah, it's like therapy in a way.
Yes, yes, perfect word.
So how was it speaking to Joe Budden? Was it like, I feel like it's a weird experience to be like, hey, check out my album. Like, I don't know about you, but I would be so nervous to be like, here's an artist I respect, and like his feedback is just means a lot to me. Like how, because Slaughterhouse to me, one of the greatest groups of hip hop of all time. And
Incredible.
and so like I can only imagine the feeling of like, all right, we're gonna sit down, you're gonna give me feedback. And I would be so nervous at that time.
I didn't know what I was walking into, truth be told. Um all right, so what happened was I was trying to sell tickets to this show that I had, which thank God ended up being a successful show. And I was doing it door to door, you know, Girl Scout cookie style. Um and I went onto like the wealthiest street in my town, and I offered it, and this guy was like leaving the house. He's like, "Nah, I'm sorry, I got too much going on and whatnot, but you might want to check next door. My neighbor's Joe Button. He'd be interested." And I'm just like, "No way, this guy's joking, whatever." But I was like, just in case, let me just put my EP and 2 tickets there. I'll just put the money in later. Um, and I got a call, and somebody was like, "Yo, do you know whose house this? Do you know whose house this is? That was?" And I'm like, "No," just in case, because I'm like, I still don't know if it really was.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yo, come by Sunday afternoon." I'm like, "Okay, sure." I come by. I walk to the backyard. Now, first of all, this is a rich house in a white neighborhood. I could have died and had my organ sold. This wasn't as smart as I thought
Yeah.
going in. But I walk in, go down the driveway, walk around. This is around the time of Everyday Struggle, and I see the back of his head, and I know this is like so freaking funny. I've never said this to his face because I don't want to offend him, and I still don't think I don't think it's offensive. I just think it's funny. I saw the back of his head, and I'm like, "Oh snap, that's Joe Button. That's got to be Joe Button." And I don't know how, but I knew him from like the shape of the back of his head. It's weird. So I come. I'm trying not to like freak out or whatnot because I don't want to weird them out and get kicked out. So I'm just like trying to play it cool. I'm just sitting down. This is during Ramadan, so I'm fasting. So I'm in the middle of trying not to pass out, and I'm just sitting there, just like, "Hey," he's like, "Yeah, what's going on, man?" I'm like, "Uh, nothing much." He said, "Yeah, you working on music?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have a lot of music. You want to hear it?" "Yeah, I'm working on an album." So that's how I end up playing a lot of my stuff for him, and I appreciate him for that experience so much. You know, he could never do anything for me again in my career, but that little moment taught me so damn much. And I ended up down the line. There was a show that was in town, and his son Trey ended up performing there, and I got to meet him. And now me and Trey, sorry about that. Now me and Trey is tight. That's an amazing dude, yo. He's so freaking ahead of his time. It's just I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed to just know him. I wouldn't even be able to say I truly know Joe. I've only met him I think 2 or 3 times. 3 times. But his son, very blessed to know him. He's a really great dude.
I just love that as like a chance. Like it's almost like it was meant to happen. You were meant to go down that street. You were meant to go up to that house, and he's like, "Hey, go next door." Because if that didn't happen, who knows where you would
That
be right now?
that's that that's the hard work that I was talking about, though. I mean, although I would never do it again because my calves. Walking all through the town for that show just ended up giving me one of the greatest shows and whatnot. And I would do it. No, I wouldn't do it all over again, as I just said, but it was just it was perfect, man. It was perfect.